Hey everybody, Spuddy or Spuds Outdoors. Today is February 18th, 2025. According to the Weather Channel app I just pulled up there, it's 24 below outside. It's cold. So we're going to go through a cold start on a side-by-side, particularly a Polaris Ranger 1000 XP. So I'll go through the steps that I do to fire this thing up when it's this cold, in case you're ice fishing or something. That way, hopefully you can rely on it a little bit more than just I hope it starts. So this is what I do, the steps that I take to make sure this thing's going to fire up, and let's go give it a try. Okay, so step one, you're going to shut your lights off. Anything auxiliary lights that you've got on, you're going to make sure you've got them off. Your heater fan is going to get turned off. Put the key in place. You're going to cycle the key on for a few seconds, let your fuel pump run. You're going to turn it back off. Once again, cycle that fuel pump for a few seconds. You're going to turn it back off. And for the third time, let that fuel pump run for a few seconds and crank. Okay, starter kicked out, key back off. Back on, let that fuel pump run a little bit. We got it to fire. Key off. Back on. She's running. Ooh, 26 below engine coolant temperature. That's cold. And by far the coldest temperature I've ever started a Ranger. It's running. I ain't really happy about it, but it's alive. Okay, there you have it. Ooh, it's cold out there. That's how we started. There's a couple things leading up to getting it started when it's that cold out. It's that voltage. When it's this cold out, batteries, they don't like it, and so we want to turn off all those auxiliary things that we do not need to start. Your lights, your blower motor fan, and we're preserving all that voltage to go into your ignition, your fuel pump, your starter to crank it over. Those systems, that's what needs the voltage right now. So that's the reason we've shut the other ones off. It just works better. The other thing you got to run. This is stock. Talking about stock engines, which most of them are. There's other modifications you can do, which I'd love to, but I need this thing to work every day, and I just keep it stock. It's not as much fun, but it works, and that's what I need it for. So with that being said, what I'm leading up to is I don't run premium fuel in it. I know that's what I've been telling people to do in their small engines for 20 years. Run premium unoxygenated fuel. Not the case here. If you want it to start when it's cold, we have found at least 2018 or newer, even some of the older ones than that. If it gets below 20 degrees and you're having trouble with that engine starting, don't run premium. Run 87 octane fuel. That's what they're designed to run on. That's the only way this thing's going to start when it's 26 below outside. If I had premium in there, 0, maybe 10 below, not starting. I know it doesn't sound right, but that's how they're designed. So to get it to run when it's this cold, you got to run 87 octane. It goes against everything I've been saying for the last 20 years, or 15, whatever you want to say with that 2018 year in there. But that's how you're going to get it to start. Preserve your voltage. Run 87 octane fuel. That's what they're designed to run on. And that sequence, that's how you get it to start. If we would have, once we cranked it over and we had it to fire, if we would have just kept cranking, typically it doesn't run. And what it's going to do is keep dumping fuel in through them injectors. And if it finally would fire, it could potentially be flooded at that point. And I've had it happen to me a couple years ago. It was 23 below, I believe. And it blew the intake plenum box apart like a shotgun. Bang, all that plastic everywhere. So obviously I had to walk to work that day. But that is something that happens. So the reason that we're turning the key back off, you're resetting that ignition, giving it a chance to go through its startup again, instead of cranking, and it don't fire, and you're just wasting voltage on from your battery. And this is what works the best. So I thought, why not make a video tell you the best sequence that I've found to start these things when it's cold. And not all of you have to worry about it, lucky. But this is what we got to do up here when it's cold to get these things to start. So that being said, cranks over and it fires, but doesn't continue to run. Shut the key off, let the ignition system restart, and try it again. That's your best bet. So hopefully these tips and tricks help you out. I got to go turn my blower motor back on. Hopefully that thing will warm up in the next 20 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, our engine temperature is up to temp. We're starting to blow out some warm air, which is good. But I want you to remember that your engine is warm and your cooling system, that's great, but the rest of this thing is ice cold. So when you go to shift, oof, she's stiff. What I want you to do is take it easy. Your tires, your belt, your clutches, your drivetrain system, your CV boots, all of it is very cold. So take it easy. Let this thing warm up, you know, as you drive. I mean, think about all your components that aren't that warm. So don't just put her in high and hammer down. Take it easy. You know, let those components warm up. It's still that cold outside. Stuff can break. Just use your head. I feel like I have to talk to my teenage son when I say that, but that's the case. So just think about that. I don't care if it's a side-by-side or a vehicle, you know, a snowmobile, same thing. Warm up them belts, you know, the track, that type of thing on a snowmobile. But just let everything warm up and get moving. You know, drive it for a little while before you start driving like Dale Earner, okay? So there you have it. That's how we do it. And hopefully it helps you have a little more confidence in starting your side-by-side when it's this cold. So with that, stay warm. Thanks for watching. See you next time.